There's a crisis happening quietly in engineering teams around the world, and it has nothing to do with code quality or deadlines. It's 11 p.m., you're 3 layers deep in an agentic workflow, and there is simply nobody to think out loud with. Your teammates are offline, Slack is silent, and Stack Overflow has never seen your exact edge case. This specific kind of intellectual isolation is one of the most underrated productivity killers in modern software development. Most engineers made a subtle but critical category error when AI coding tools arrived. They slotted these tools into the same mental bucket as Google Search or Stack Overflow, a place you query and extract answers from. But the engineers seeing the biggest gains have reframed the relationship entirely. They're not extracting answers, they're pressure testing ideas, arguing through trade-offs, and exploring second and third order consequences of architectural decisions before a single line of production code is written. The uncomfortable truth is that the quality of your AI thinking session is almost a direct mirror of how much honest context you're willing to provide up front. Share your constraints, your prior decisions, and the reasoning behind them, your uncertainties, your deadlines, your team's skill level. The more complete that picture, the more genuinely useful the response becomes. Think of it like briefing a brilliant consultant who just walked in the door. The briefing is not overhead, the briefing is the work. There's a direct and almost poetic symmetry at play. Engineers who treat AI like a vending machine, insert brief question, receive answer, walk away, are getting exactly what they're putting in. Surface-level pattern matching dressed up as insight. The tool reflects your engagement back at you. A one-sentence prompt about a deeply complex distributed systems problem will generate a confident-sounding but ultimately shallow response. You haven't engaged a thinking partner. You've generated a plausible-looking hallucination with no safety net. A genuinely productive session has a recognizable shape. You open by laying out the full architectural context and what decisions are already locked in. You state explicitly what you're uncertain about. You ask for steel manning of the approaches you're most skeptical of. And critically, you push back when an answer feels too clean or too easy, because real engineering problems rarely have clean, easy answers. This process sounds slow, but it consistently surfaces expensive mistakes before they get baked into code bases that 6 developers will inherit. Here's the insight that reframes everything. The AI is almost secondary to the discipline you build around using it. When you force yourself to articulate constraints, decisions, and uncertainties clearly enough for a system to engage with, you are running your own thinking through a rigorous filter. Psychologists call something similar rubber duck debugging. The act of explaining a problem out loud forces your brain to construct it coherently, and incoherence becomes immediately visible. AI takes that dynamic and adds a layer of active interrogation on top. The competitive divide that's opening up in engineering isn't between people who use AI and people who don't. Almost everyone is using it now. The divide is between engineers who have internalized structured, honest reasoning as a daily professional habit versus those who haven't. The former group is compounding a reasoning advantage every single day, catching architectural mistakes early, stress testing assumptions before they calcify, and building an instinct for systemic thinking that transfers far beyond any specific tool or technology. Every engineer on your team has access to the same models, the same APIs, the same context windows. The hardware is fully democratized. What isn't evenly distributed is the habit of engaging those tools with rigor, honesty, and genuine intellectual depth. The next time you're stuck at 11 p.m. with no one to think with, don't type a one-liner and hope for magic. Share the whole messy context. Argue, push back, explain yourself. The quality of your thinking is the product. The AI is just the mirror you're thinking into.